my wonderful students, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing songwriting, lyrics writing and just composing in general, but I won't be going too much into that. That will be a separate lesson for those of you that want to learn composition. Now, songwriting is a very, very fun thing to do. It's not for everyone, and I know a few of you are going to be like, oh, do I have to watch this video if I don't want to do songwriting? Even if you're not doing songwriting, I would recommend you watching this video, just because you'll probably notice things that I will talk about, and you'll notice that they'll be in some of the songs that you'll be covering. So some of you might be covering Adele and you might be like, oh, she uses this rhyming style, or oh, she uses the same theme as another singer, but a singer takes it in this way. And it's very, very interesting as a musician and a singer to look at that, and you'll probably understand the song a lot better, if I'm completely honest. First thing you'll need for songwriting is a notebook. I do songwrite, I don't as much anymore. I've started picking it back up again, and honestly I just enjoy it. It's also a good thing for your mental state anyway, so I would highly recommend doing it. The first thing you would have to think about when you're songwriting is a theme. It's kind of self-explanatory. It's kind of like if you're writing a story for English. You need to come up with a theme, you need to come up with a story. So it's the exact same thing as songwriting. A song is just you telling a story, but in a more musical, fun way. Now, with the theme, you might think, oh, okay, do I want to make this a happy song, or do I want this to be a sad song? So you would decide whether it would be in a major key, for it to be a bit more happy, a bit more lively, or you'd want it in a minor key so it sounds a little bit sadder. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have a major key to make it sound sad. You can actually blend keys together, and I'll talk about that in another video. This is why I'm making two videos, one for songwriting and then one for composition. But yeah, it's just little things like that really helps you start off with writing a song. Now, the next thing with songwriting is we've got to think of syllables. Now, some of you might not know what syllables are, and that's completely fine. Basically, syllables is the way you pronounce a word and how many parts it takes to say that word. So let's use the word inferno. Inferno. There's 3 parts. Now, when you're writing lyrics, there tends to be a pattern when you're writing lyrics, especially with the syllables. So say if I had a sentence, hopefully this isn't a song, but the cat sat on the mat. So there's 6 altogether. Now my next line, I'd either want there to be 5, 6 or 7. I don't want any less, I don't want any higher. You can do, in certain genres of music you can. So rap music, there's sometimes different amounts of syllables used. Sometimes they're quite strict to how many syllables are used. Again, it's up to you. And if you're not 100% sure, bring your lyrics into a lesson and I'll be able to help you with that. Now, genre. So genre is what the music style is. So you've got jazz, you've got country, you've got rock and roll, you've got pop, you've got indie, what else have we got? Screamo, which I'll be very surprised if any of you are doing that. You've got rap music, hip hop. There's so many different genres of music. And honestly, if this is your first time songwriting but you've done singing before, look back at the songs you have been singing or the type of genre you typically sing. So if you're singing a lot of current pop songs, try writing a pop song. Like, give it a go. And then afterwards, maybe challenge yourself by writing jazz. Jazz is quite fun to listen to. I'd highly recommend listening to jazz music. Instrumentally, jazz music's wonderful. Just honestly come up with, whilst you're songwriting, so say you've written your first song, let's say pop's your first song, I would honestly make a playlist of different songs from different genres and just listen to them and be like, okay, so they do this, or this song sounds happy and they're talking about this, or this song sounds a bit more sharp and a bit more aggressive, and the theme is this. Like, just look at little things that other songs do, and honestly, it opens up your music knowledge and your creativity with writing songs. If you guys want me to make a playlist for you guys, just let me know, and I'll gladly do that, and you can use that as much as you want. Now, using rhyming when you're songwriting is an optional thing to do. Not all songs use rhyming. Some songs do use rhyming. Some songs would rhyme in the verses, and maybe not rhyme at all in the choruses. But it's a fun thing to use, and honestly, it helps you portray an emotion which is related to the theme of your song a lot more better, a lot more strongly. And it's a good use of using your English language techniques, which for those of you that are doing GCSE English, this would be perfect, and you'd be able to use what you do in your songwriting in your English language. Good luck with your GCSEs. Side note, with the whole English language and doing it as a GCSE, you tend to learn in English similes, oxymorons, metaphors. A lot of singers use those in their songwriting. Again, I will talk about those in a lot more detail in another video, but I would highly recommend using what you learn in English language into your songs. It would really, really help, and honestly, it just boosts that amount, it boosts your level of creativity, and also it just makes the song a lot more wholesome. It's easy to connect with. It's easy for the audience. If you recorded it and you showed it to friends, family, they would be able to have a stronger image and maybe be able to feel the emotion you're trying to portray a lot more strongly by using these techniques. So I'd highly recommend using them. Now, structure. If you're starting off with songwriting, I would personally, hang on, let me get my notebook. I would personally start off with verse 1, verse 2, chorus, verse 3. Now, over time you can develop that. Over time you can add maybe a bridge before the chorus. Each time the chorus comes, you add a bridge before. But just to start off with, I would just do that, just because you'd honestly be able to focus on the things that I've spoken previously before this point a lot more. And yeah, I can, if you want to bring your songs and your lyrics into the lesson, I can look over them and be able to help you. If you're not having lessons with me, again, feel free to put them in the comments or DM me, and again, I can go through them and we'll see what you need to improve on. Honestly, songwriting is a very good creative way to just express how you're feeling in the moment, and a lot of songs can are based on emotions that people are feeling at a certain point, and they're very, very good at affecting other people who are maybe going through the exact same thing. And honestly, if you're songwriting, I'd take it at a steady pace. Not like the motorbike, but take it at a steady pace, and just see if it is for you, and just to see. After, honestly, the amount of times that I've written a song, so at the moment I'm writing a song, and I already don't like verse 2, and it's my first go of writing it, and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, okay, I kind of want to try change verse 2. I want to change the first 2 lines of verse 2. The last 2 lines in verse 2 I'm happy with. I haven't written the whole song. I've only written verse 1, verse 2, bridge, chorus. I haven't even started verse 3. And honestly, just working at your steady pace rather than rushing the song, it honestly helps you just to feel the song you're writing, which I know it sounds cheesy, I know it sounds cliche, but sometimes you might not be feeling that another day, and you look back at it and you're like, okay, I kind of feel a bit differently to that, and it might add a bit more into the song. And yeah, like, again, music's not restricting, it's a very creative way of expressing yourself. I'm sorry if that was very confusing to explain. Now the final point. I don't want anyone to think this point's not important. It is important, but I'll be talking in another video about this point, okay? So, instruments. I know I said at the beginning, so one of my students asked me, do I need to have music knowledge to do songwriting? Not necessarily, but I would recommend learning it after. So some people, when they go looking for a music career, they'll mainly focus on lyric writing. That doesn't necessarily mean that they don't know anything about music. They have a good knowledge of music, but they might not necessarily have started knowing a lot about music. I would recommend, honestly, just listening to as much music as you can. Even if it's, so say you've got a song which does have singing in it, say if you just listen to an instrumental version of that, because a lot of songs, especially when they're based on a certain genre, use certain instruments. So a lot of campfire song music, which I know I'm going round and round in circles, I'm very sorry everyone, but campfire song music is basically song music that is sung in a recording room and you're all sat on the floor and you've got a microphone in the middle. And honestly, you can that microphone technique can be used in any genre of music, but I'll use it for this example. But a lot of the instruments will be acoustic. So you might not necessarily have a massive drum kit, an electric guitar or electric bass. You might just have a guitar and vocals, or you might have guitar, vocals, and maybe a woodwind instrument. It depends on, one, the theme of the song, what you want your song to sound like. And yeah, honestly, it's down to you. And another thing I'd like to point out, because there's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to music. So there can be music with specific structure, specific lyrics, specific rhyming techniques, but you can also have a thing which is called experimental music, which is honestly just so an easy way of me explaining experimental music is I had to do an exercise at university and we were all told to just play a note. Didn't have to be in tune with each other, and then we would just play whatever, and that can be a form of experimental music and that can sound good. But honestly, if you're not, if say if you never touched an instrument before, you've done singing, or you've only say if you haven't done singing, you've just started songwriting. Honestly, I would just try and listen to as many different instruments and sounds as you can. I'd look them up a bit. If you're not 100% sure on how to write music in the first place, I would highly recommend using these softwares. So Sibelius and MuseScore. Now, Sibelius you have to pay for. MuseScore you don't have to pay for. So I use MuseScore just because Sibelius is really expensive, but I find that the tutorials that you can get given on MuseScore are a lot more easier to understand. So MuseScore is where you'll have a sheet of music, you'll have bar lines, you can add the notes individually, and honestly, you can even listen to what the instrument sounds like before you even start composing. So if you're not sure, say you've got let me think. So say you've got an oboe, flute, clarinet, and you're not sure what the other instrument should be. So I had this problem when I was doing my university composition, and I could not think for the life of me what instrument I wanted. And so I went and clicked on the instruments option, and you can put all instruments, and you can click on it and it will play a little bit of what that instrument will sound like. And I found the instrument that I needed. I would honestly use MuseScore if you're starting off. Sibelius I would probably use later on in your life. And yeah, just play around with it. And even if you're not sure, even if you have to watch YouTube videos on how to use MuseScore or anything like that, go for it. Like, you literally, the internet has so much good, useful stuff. I'd use it. Again, if you want to bring a laptop or you want to send me what you're doing, you're welcome to do that, and I'd be able to help you with that. And yeah, those are my top tips. I honestly hope this video was helpful. I'm really sorry that I talk a lot in this video, but it's kind of really difficult to not talk a lot, especially when you're explaining how to do songwriting. Honestly, songwriting is down to the musician, and yeah, like you can have pointers and someone can give you advice, but honestly, you're the songwriter and it's your decision at the end of the day. But you can have pointers, you can have little things that you can try in your songs, and it might make it better. But I'm looking forward to what you guys will be writing. Feel free to ask me for any more advice. Feel free to ask if you want more specific video on songwriting and lyrics writing, and I can do that for you. But yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!